I just want to ask, this off season, can you kind of just take me a little bit through your focus and what you think some of the biggest strides that you've made since the end of last season?
I think for me, just knowledge of the playbook has always been like one of the top priorities. I feel like that has you can't get enough uh, of learning about the offense because it's always it's really good to understand like the X's and O's parts of it. So I think that's probably been a huge thing with just feeling a lot more confident in like checks and defenses and all of that. And also just I feel like a lot better in shape this year going into the season. I feel like my weight is probably the best I felt going into a season in a while. So I feel like over the off season, just getting in shape and feeling like I can move around a lot better has been the main focus for me.
What's this like for you kind of coming into the season like this, established with so much kind of under your belt from last year, but also, a lot of new faces around you as far as on the offense. Well, not new faces, but with not as many that didn't get quite as much run last year as they're poised to this year. So how do you kind of lead from the one with, with all this experience that maybe others don't have at the moment?
Yeah, I try to be vocal, try to get them all going. It's a new year, it's a new season. We haven't done anything yet in this season, so I think all of our focus is really just this first game, coming out and getting a fast start, playing the best we can. It was good getting playing time last year, getting to see all the kinds of defenses and looks at that I could have. It wasn't the season, the record that we wanted to have. So just going into this season, I think just trying to get the guys going, get them excited, get them ready to play come Saturday. Because all we're looking at right now is just Delaware. So
That's perfect for me. Appreciate you.
thank you.
Let's go to Scott Wyckoff.
Hey, Ty, what's impressed you the most watching film of Delaware?
They're a pretty athletic group. It's we play a lot of athletic guys. Watching them, they seem like they're a very confident program. Like they know they fly around the ball. Haven't watched too much on them. Just we're kind of just focusing right now on our game plan and all that. So, but I think probably the most that stands out is probably just the confidence that they have on defense. So.
How important is the memories of last year struggling early in the season at home, kind of behind you guys thinking coming into this game, how important it is to play well, to get things going?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing we've been preaching is just we have to have a fast start. The past two seasons at home haven't been what we wanted, hasn't started the way we wanted. So a big highlight on offense right now is just coming out and playing like we know we can play. We can't come out and play slow. We got to come firing off the ball, make our reads, know our assignments, and get it going. So
fans are able to see it, but what's it like when you and your teammates run out of that tunnel and come onto the field at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium?
It's a feeling unmatched. It's great. It's probably the most it's probably the coolest feelings you could feel besides probably Army Navy. You run out and you see all the mids, you see all the fans that have been there supporting you all summer and seasons before, and so it's great just to see all their faces, see how excited they are just to watch us do what we love. So
how much more confident, how much more prepared, how much more in command of the offense do you feel now as opposed to going into the season opener last year?
For me, my opinion is night and day. Last year I never saw a college snap, so it was very, very intimidating, I would say, just not knowing, just the unknown of just what could happen or how the speed of the game was. And last year, now that I got to see how the speed of it, how the tempo is, given that we haven't played a game in a while since it's been summer, fall camp, all that, just getting the speed of it, I feel like just going into confidence-wise, I'm a lot more confident, just feeling like I understand and know what to expect rather than last year where it felt like it was very unknown what could happen.
So I do the Navy football podcast with record-setting quarterback Keenan Reynolds, and he said Ty needs to rush for 1,300 yards. We'll have a great season. That's a high bar. Keenan was used to rushing for that kind of number. But do you have a goal of get over 1,000?
Yeah, I mean I think that's every quarterback's goal in this offense is making the impact of like that majority. So just like I mean 1,000 is I'm just striving to be able to make a big impact on the ground with my legs. Um, that way that like the whole offense looks like it's back to how it used to be with a quarterback, B back, and the A backs all getting around the field.
How's the offensive line looking? I mean, it all starts up front. If they're not clearing holes, it doesn't matter who's carrying the ball. How's that offensive line coming together? Look like they have some chemistry built.
Yeah, I think as fall camp as it started going on, trying to figure out what we were going to do, what we needed to do. I think up to this point now, it's I mean all of them are pretty dialed in on what's going on. They're all firing off the ball, coming off the ball low, getting their pad level low. I'm excited to see what they can do Saturday because based off practice, it seems like they're eager to get after it. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday.
And last for me before I yield the floor, the wide receivers, you know, somebody said Mark Walker is due for a big season. We know Jay Numbarger can be a playmaker. How are you developing good chemistry with your receivers? And is there a receiver other than those two I just mentioned that might show up this year that maybe perhaps fans have not heard of?
Yeah, I mean, I think chemistry wise, we're all pretty much on the same page. We know, I kind of know where they're going to be out on the field. I kind of know what kind of like throw they would rather have in a certain situation and stuff like that. So definitely just getting reps with them is really good just to keep building that chemistry going into Saturday. And I think we have a really good receiving core. I think Regis Velez and Corey Myers are going to be big dudes coming into the season too. So those are definitely people I'm expecting a lot out of too coming into the season. So
Phil Bergen.
Hi, Coach Niumatalolo yesterday was calling this team one of the most athletic groups he's ever seen. How are the athletes looking just on your side of the ball?
And if there's one word, probably fast. I think everyone on our side right now, that's behind me or in front of me, can just like really move. I think that B backs probably the fastest we've had in a while. A backs most athletic, can make plays out of nothing. Wideouts all across the board are all really athletic and can run really good routes. So I'm excited to see how it all comes together in an actual game scenario because athleticism wise, we can all, or yeah, I mean, I guess we can all make something happen. So.
And college football's back. Could you just like describe the feelings? You kind of touched on this earlier that you just get knowing that football's back.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you are hoping for every day when you're in fall camp, tired, and you're kind of just looking at what you're doing it for. And this is the reason that we do it to strap it up on Saturdays, go out and play with our brothers. It's definitely it's a lot of emotion and tension built up because you want to get out there and just play. So it's really exciting that it's back, and we only have like 4 days left now until our first game. So.
And you've been practicing, behind closed doors, just now getting to play in front of your friends, the family, the brigade of midshipmen. What's this like for you?
It's awesome. I mean, everyone always asks you how's it looking, how the team looking. I mean, I guess you never really know until you get out there and play another team. So I'm excited just for them to all be there, see us play, see all the hard work that we put in over summer and spring, and just see how it all unfolds.
John Schofield.
Hey, Ty, John Schofield with the 6 Second Sports Podcast. About 2 years ago, I remember some journalist named Bill Wagner saying, hey, watch out for this freshman, Tai Lavatai. He's showing, he's big, he's a different kind of quarterback. How do you feel like you've evolved from plebe summer to just now signing your 2-for-7 papers? Big steps, a lot of evolution in the middle, a lot of growth, both athletically and personally. Yeah, walk me through how these 2 years have changed you.
Yeah, I think it's given, especially plebe year. There was a lot of adversity for me. I mean, you come in and everyone hopes to play, and I didn't have the opportunity to play. I was just on scout team, so definitely getting through that part and knowing kind of what my role was for the team and how, even though I wasn't playing, how I could still try to incorporate like learning the offense and all of that into football and daily life. going into plebe year, going into spring, I knew that there was an opportunity to be able to get playing time. So I really dove into the playbook, tried to like work on everything possible about the offense, just so when it came springtime, I could kind of show that I could play and play quarterback on this team. And then, I mean, going into sophomore year, getting the ability to play, getting hurt, going through that time, that was tough because I didn't know exactly what would come after me being hurt or how the season would go. And I mean, it was ups and downs throughout the season, but then I think going in the Army Navy game and we won that game was really a big leap forward just for our program and just for everyone here. There's a lot of young dudes, a lot of guys who are eager to get after it. And so I think that game really set us up for going into the season of the like confidence and like know that we can play our style of game and win. So I think and then signing 2-for-7, obviously big commitment. So it was you expect like it was some big parade happening afterwards, but it was kind of just you just walk in there and sign a paper. So I mean it's good to know that now I'm definitely locked in for it. But I mean we got our game Saturday, so I'm just looking forward to that.
So now you've walked me through 2 years of the past. Give me some of the goals. Bill Wagner just force-fed you one of your goals for 2022, which is 1,300 rushing yards. I know every athlete sets aside some goals before their season starts. What do you personally want to accomplish this year?
I think for me, I mean, that's obviously a goal as being an effective runner. I think the biggest goal for me is we always talk about how our offense is always based on numbers, based on getting us in the right play. And if we're in the right play, it should be able to execute the way it needs to. So I think the biggest thing for me is just regardless of what's thrown at me from a defense, regardless of what goes on the field, like just being able to execute at a high level that can make the offense run efficiently. Not just like making sure I'm in the right play, making sure I make the right read, and just making like smart plays all around throughout the whole season because it's easy to kind of second guess yourself sometimes. So my goal is to just stick to what I know and just go with it and just trust that I'm calling the right thing.
Thanks, Ty.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll start back around. Kareem Copeland.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Scott Wyckoff.
Ty, being in your second full season of having Coach Jasper as your position coach, the comfort level moving into that second season, and also with your ability to comprehend the offense, is he able to even give you more insights and knowledge to things that you've really been noticing you've been able to do?
Yeah, I mean he's the triple option guru, as they say. So I mean he knows everything there is to know about triple option, and no matter how much I think I know, or there's always something else to learn from him. And he's always making us make sure we're looking for the smallest details in a defense, smallest things, tells to be able to get us into the right play. So I mean, going into this season, it's definitely a really good thing to have him be our coach, because I mean it's you always learn something new. You always have something that you can build from and make sure you're looking at these small details in a completely different way than anybody else on the offense would. So
how fired up are you for Delaware?
I'm ecstatic. I mean it's too much tension being built just sitting here waiting until Saturday. So I'm just ready to go out there and play and get it going.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bill Wagner.
Ty, I think Coach Jasper likens you a lot to Will Worth, Ricky Dobbs, maybe even Aaron Polanco from way back, kind of bigger style quarterbacks, maybe quarterbacks who run similar to a fullback. Do you watch film of those particular quarterbacks because you're more in that style, or do you still watch films, tape of a guy like Keenan Reynolds or Malcolm Perry, even though they're different running styles?
No, yeah, I mean, our offense, I feel like, regardless of the quarterback, it ends up really being all the same plays. So we watch from every possible quarterback that could have played here. We'll pull up some film that still looks like it's black and white. So I mean, it just depends on what kind of game plan we have and what plays we're running, and whoever did run that play throughout the years of the quarterbacks. It's just so it's not really like dependent on what kind of runner I am. We kind of just watch to see anybody that has done the play correctly or has checked it or stuff in the past. So,
do you learn a lot from watching those films of old Navy quarterbacks operating the offense?
Yeah, you do. I mean, you see it from a different point of view from because sometimes you question, you're like, I don't know if it like it doesn't seem like it worked, and then you watch old film and it's the same exact play, it's just a different title of it, and it works perfectly fine. So it definitely gives you confidence in the stuff we run too.
So something that was interesting that Keenan brought up, when you have a new center, it takes time to get used to how they snap the ball on a direct snap. And then the same with a new fullback. Fullbacks sometimes take different lines or paths to the quarterback for the mesh. Have you developed that, what you need with Hickson at center and Anton and the other fullbacks, as far as getting a little, because it's different from last year when you were with a different center, different fullbacks?
Yeah, for sure. That's something we work on in summer a lot because we know it's different for every person. So over summer camp and workouts and stuff, it was definitely a point to make sure we got snaps and mesh with the B-back so that when it came to fall camp, it didn't really feel like we had to work on that. It was something that just felt natural.
On a more lighter note, is there anything about you that you want people to know that they don't know already?
I don't know. I feel like people probably do. I love golf. That's my second sport is golf. Can't really get hurt with it either, so that's why the coaches allow me to play it too. So big golf fan.
Any other guys on the team good golfers?
Yeah, Mikkel Haywood, Riley Reithman is probably the best one on the team right now. But I mean, there was a day that we had like 20 dudes out there just on the first tee box over at the academy course, just all of us just walking. So it looked like we were storming the course, but it was fun.
Awesome. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
I think Reithman won some Texas amateur this
You
summer.
did.
John Schofield.
Tai, keeping it light. What when you are not immersed in football, and I know that you're immersed, like there isn't a whole lot of free time at the U.S. Naval Academy. What do you try to do to kind of get yourself back to neutral, to take your mind off of things? And as again, I'm going to ask you to look into the future again. What are you hoping, to kind of narrow down in terms of service selection when your time comes here in about a year?
Yeah, so I feel like during the week, obviously we have homework outside of football, so I try to get that done relatively quick after football, so I have time to just kind of relax. I really just like watch YouTube videos and like Netflix and stuff like that, because I feel like when I'm watching movies or something, I don't really think about anything else besides like what the plot is of the movie. So it kind of like narrows my brain into like focusing on one thing rather than like all these outside factors. And probably like I think for service selection, I'm probably gonna either go marine ground or SWO, depending on how my body holds up through these next 2 years. We'll see how beat up I am. But those are probably the two that are at the top of my list right now.
Nothing wrong with being a SWO. And Tai, let me ask you, if you had to compare old Top Gun to new Top Gun, which one's the better movie?
I think new Top Gun. That's just me. Just because
Yeah.
it's
Top Gun is garbage. Everyone knows that.
completely different film. It feels like.
Yeah, that's canon. Yeah. Good choice. Solid. All right, I'm good, Strauss. Thanks.
Tai, about the golf course, what's it like having such a great golf course right there at the Naval Academy for you guys to play?
I mean, it's awesome because I played there all summer. We were playing there all summer, and I went home to play in Florida, and we were playing some courses that it was because it's only $20 or so for mids to play over there, and I went and played at home for like $60, and the course wasn't even close to what it is over here. So I mean, it's you kind of take for granted how nice we have it over here, because I mean it's like the most pristine thing you could find around here right now. So it's definitely nice to have that as an outlet to go do.
And what's the thing you like most about getting out and playing golf?
I feel like just the fact of like, I mean, it's everything in I mean, you can play like scrambles and stuff, but most of the time we're doing a very team orientated sport, and golf's kind of like, if you're doing good, you're doing good. If not, it's all on you. Like you can't blame anybody else but yourself for what you're doing. So, and it kind of just gives you time to be outside with your friends, and just kind of like hanging out and not really like caring about much, rather than if you hit a good shot or not. So,
What's better, your long game or short game?
Depends on the day, but most consistent is probably short game, I'd say, besides putting.
Don't worry, Tai. Wagner's short game, putting game, and long game are all horrible. So you're already better than Wagner.
Pete, I saw you're unmuted now. Do you have anything?
Yeah. Ty, as the quarterback, and we know how different that role is on any football team, because preparation up until this past season was so disjointed for you guys. When did that trust between you and your teammates kind of come together for you? And obviously, you guys really started to find a stride at the end of last season.
Yeah, I think. I feel like for us, it was like I've said before. I feel like it's last season. It felt like it was very one-sided for a lot of the games. It was very like offense orientated, or the defense would do very good and the offense wouldn't do good. And I feel like it was a relatively new group. I feel like for at least with me being a quarterback and stuff like that, I feel like we just needed time to like kind of get it going and understanding the chemistry level between us all. And I mean, I think just like some of the wins that we had like built the chemistry, and then we just didn't capitalize off that. Like after the UCF game and stuff like that, and we did kind of things that we shot ourselves in the foot on both sides of the ball. But I think just the trust part was built into the fact of that regardless of how the game went, every Monday we all came back going for the same goal. Everyone knew that the other person, like we all wanted what was best for the team. So I think just along the season, just trusting in each other that we were going to keep fighting regardless of the outcome of the game probably was the biggest thing.
I know coaches, if they could, would practice 24/7, 365, but having a regular off season like you all had this past year, just how different was it and how beneficial was it compared to obviously past off season preparation?
Yeah, it was a really tough off season. Definitely different than my first one that I was a part of after COVID, because they didn't really want to kill us because we were kind of already we were coming off like all that COVID stuff. But this season was definitely a really tough off season, just workout wise and all of that. So, but I think it benefits us because going into fall camp, we were tired, but we knew we could get through it because we had to with Coach Fitz and the whole staff, the whole strength and conditioning staff. So, I mean, it was tough, but our team is built off toughness, and it's built on trusting in the other person when you're tired that they can still do their job, even when they don't really like want to or have the energy to.
Finally, from your perspective, how different do you see the game now than you did at this time a year ago?
Yeah, completely different. Last year, I felt like my eyes were still wide open, trying to figure out what was going on. Just like, at least for the speed of the game wise, just trying to still get used to that and trying to get as many reps against like the live look as I could. This year, I feel like going into it, I'm hoping that like it'll feel like it's slowed down a little bit. Felt like it's kind of just how it felt towards the end of last season. I'm eager to get back onto the field on Saturday just to get back into that atmosphere and get it going.
Well, Coach, we've heard all preseason about how more experienced players, a lot of returning players coming back means more experience. Is that manifesting itself on the field? Your guys know what they're doing a lot better than maybe last year, even though they may be sophomores and juniors?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think, we've got a lot of guys that played a lot of, as we say, meaningful snaps last year, but we still got a lot of young guys though. But I think at this point I'm pleased with where we're at. I think we're probably, further along with our scheme and comfort within that scheme with our players than we ever have been, since I've been here at this point, going into a season. So I feel good about the guys that played a lot of snaps last year and a lot of young guys that we're going to have to count on this year as well.
Could you name maybe 3 or 4 guys who've had breakout preseason camps that have really stood up and stood out for you?
Well, I think we've got a lot of guys that maybe not break out, but guys have improved a lot. That were good players for us before. I think John Marston's had a tremendous camp. I think one guy that's really kind of come into his own lately is Joe Hudson. A guy that didn't play for us at safety last year. He's had a really good camp. I'm excited about him. I think our linebackers, we got 4 guys that are really, really playing well right now. But I think across the board we've improved everywhere. I think going into camp, corner was a position where we were concerned about the experience and our depth there, and I think those guys have had a really good camp. Starting to feel good about our depth there, and have some good, trustworthy, reliable guys out there that have gotten a lot better over the last couple of weeks. So I feel better about that spot. So overall, just really pleased with the progress of the guys that played for us last year, and then as well as some of the younger guys that we're going to have in the depth and going to have play snaps for us.
Last for me, with regard to Delaware, do you just look at what Sam Houston State did last season and say that's their offense?
Yeah, it's both. I think you obviously have to look at Delaware and their personnel and who they've got coming back, and so you watch that and try to get a feel for that. But as far as the scheme is concerned, I mean, that's the only thing we have to reference is the Sam Houston film. And, I'm certain that they're going to change some things based on their personnel at Delaware being different than maybe Sam Houston, but they had so much success there at Sam Houston State doing what they do offensively that I don't see them changing a whole lot or getting away from what their bread and butter is. And so, but yeah, to answer your question, it's both. It's, the scheme, obviously, Sam Houston, and then the personnel that Delaware has returning.
All right, let's go to Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, what you've seen in practice and fall camp and now in the week preparation for Delaware, what do you like best about this defense in this time coming into this game?
Yeah, I like the way we run the football, Scott. Something we talk about a lot around here. I think we got a bunch of unselfish guys that just want to win football games, trust each other and care about each other. And that's the most important thing to me. And the thing that we talked about all camp is just, matching those intangible things with the execution piece, which at times last year was not great. So that's a big emphasis, playing with that, we call the elite effort around here and matching that with our execution.
When you were coaching FCS, take us into the locker room, what it was like when you were going to play a big team like Delaware is going to play against the Navy. What did that mean to those players?
Well, I think it was a chance to prove yourself. I think a lot of guys, it's like when we go into a big game, we have a little bit of chip on our shoulders sometimes. I think certainly when I was coaching FCS football, I had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove that we belonged and could play with those guys. And it's exciting for the players. It's exciting for the coaches. It was for me when I was coaching FCS football. And I'll tell you what, they're an extremely well-coached football team, and that's a great league. And so it's not going to be a huge stretch for them by any means. But I think it's certainly exciting when you go into a big venue, maybe a little different than a lot of the games you play, places that you play at that level. But, you play home game in Delaware, that's a pretty good venue in itself right there. And that league, particularly in FCS, is it's similar to a Group of Five conference, really.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Joe Miller.
Yeah, Coach. I wanted to ask about Henderson, the starting quarterback from Delaware. Obviously, you guys are reaching back and looking at different things, but he has 17 career starts. What have you been able to see from him, and what are the things that you're looking at that he does well?
Yeah, I think he's a really good player. I think he's smart. I think he makes good decisions, doesn't turn the ball over. I think he's polished, throws the ball well, makes his reads really well, takes what you give him. And he's a good enough athlete to beat you with his feet when he needs to. So I just think he's a very, very well-rounded quarterback who's got a lot of experience. Sounds like he's kind of hitting on all cylinders right now with their offense and the new scheme that they have in place. So he's a really good player. And so he's definitely a concern of ours.
One of the names on the depth chart that we haven't seen play, but obviously is up there, is Gianni Woodson Brooks. What have you seen from him in this camp, and what are you excited about him as far as a player?
A lot of good things. He plays extremely hard. He's a physical specimen. and he's 245 pounds. I don't think he's got an ounce of body fat on him. He gets better every day. He's a guy that didn't play a lot of snaps for us last year. He was learning, but he's a guy that, as he gets more and more confident with what we're doing, he just continues to get better and better. So I'm really, really pleased with where Gianni's at. Excited to see him play on Saturday.
What are one or two things that you're really stressing with the defense headed into Delaware that we have to take care of these, one or two things on Saturday?
Yeah, I think the thing that always concerns you going in the first game is just execution, number one, and tackling. It seems to always show up, early in the year. You take poor angles, you have missed tackles, and that's something that we know we're going to have to do a great job of on Saturday. I think typically in that first game, the team that plays the hardest and makes the fewest mistakes typically wins those games. And so, we've got to go out and execute really well, and we have to leverage the football, and we have to tackle.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Bill Bergman.
Coach, following up on Joe Miller's question a little, this depth at linebacker at both the Mike and the Will, how excited are you just to have so many options at those positions?
Yeah, very excited. We've never gone into a season with the kind of depth that we have right now. I think if you look at the two positions combined, I think we're pretty good. We're pretty good at Mike and Will. When you have four guys that really, any four of those guys can start for you, and you feel good about all four of them. And we got a couple of guys behind them. We got a freshman, Kenny McShann, that's really had a good camp too. That he's going to be a special player, I think. So I feel really good about the depth there. And it's a position you're going to need to have some depth, that in the defensive line, because, it's hard for those guys to stay healthy the entire year. So to be able to rotate those guys, can keep them fresh, is a great benefit for us.
Coach Niumatalolo touched on these two guys, but the two freshmen on the depth chart, McShann and Duhart. What can we know about them?
Yeah, like I just said about Kenny, he's had a really good camp. He's a big linebacker, really explosive, very athletic. He's learning the system, and it takes a while for the freshmen especially. But once he gets it down, I think he's going to be a really, really good player. And Duhart, both those guys were at the prep school last year, so they got a little bit of a head start, and really excited about Duhart as well. Again, it's a big learning curve on defense for what we do, and what the freshmen are required to do when they get here in the summer. We don't get to spend all summer with them, obviously going through plebe summer and everything. So when they get into camp, they're drinking out of a fire hose with what we're doing. So we can't wait on those guys to move forward in installation and what we're doing. But I think they're starting to get more and more comfortable, starting to get more and more confident in what we're doing. And then, but they both have the ability to play and be starters for us in the future for sure. And I expect both of those guys to play for us this year.
And just with it being this first game of the season, do you still get excited like the first day of school type feeling, or is it just another game to you at this point in your career?
Oh no, shoot! I'm already getting butterflies thinking about Saturday. I have for the last 3 weeks. So, you're excited, you're anxious, you're all those things. You're ready for the game to get here. At the same time, you wish you had another week to get ready. You get through all those emotions. But no, I'm super excited. I'm excited for our players, and they've had a great offseason. They've worked really, really hard. So I'm excited to see them go out and play, and it's what you do it all for. Is that the few Saturdays a year that you get to go out there and put it all together, and so I'm excited to see that product on Saturday.
The updated depth chart, I was surprised to see that Woods and Brooks and Harbor are even. Is that a function of Harbor still shaking off the rust after being away out for so long with the injury, or is it Woods and Brooks has had that good of a camp?
Well, Harbor didn't go through spring ball, but it's not anything that Harbor did wrong. He's got a good camp, and he's continued to develop as a player as well. I just think, and like I said, they're both going to play, Bill, but I think Gianni has had a really, really good camp, and athletically, he's probably a little better athlete than Will. And Will's one of those guys that's got great instincts. He's a hard-nosed football player. He's smart, reliable, trustworthy. So they both got a lot of really good qualities. We're going to use both of them for sure. And like I said, we're going to need them both.
And with regard to Delaware, I know you talked about the quarterback. Can you mention a couple skill guys that stood out to you on tape?
Hey, I will mention, I think the big receiver, Pitts, is a really good player. He's played a ton of snaps for them. He's kind of been their big target guy. Really impressed with him. A couple of the old linemen they've got back, I think, are really good players. Running back is a talented player as well. And I think, they're a veteran football team. They've got a bunch of 5th and 6th year guys, several returning starters, but I think that they've got some transfers and things like that to kind of round out their receiving core and their O-line. So don't know a lot about some of those guys. I do know that they were productive players, at the places that they came from. So we're going to play a veteran football team, a lot of 5th and 6th year guys. I think 19 on the 20, and they're too deep. Their starters are 5th, 6th year guys. And so, anytime you play in a group like that, and you know they're going to be disciplined. They're going to be, they're going to execute at a high level, and so. But yeah, they've got some good players offensively that are going to be challenging to deal with. You're talking about the receiver, the running back, the quarterback, and a couple of good tight ends as well.
I wanted to ask about Nolan Barber, another guy we haven't seen a ton from, but nose guard, second on the depth chart. What have you seen from him, and just sort of a little bit of some of his strengths and what he does well?
Yeah, I love Nolan. We call him the executioner. He hadn't had a chance to get his LASIKs done yet, so he wears those rec specs out there, and he's just the way he goes about his business. He loves to practice. He loves football. We talk about recruiting tough, smart kids that love football here at the academy. He's one of those, and he's a blue collar. He's a worker. He's what you want on your D line, and expecting big things from Nolan.
Awesome. I'm good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Bill Bergman.
Coach, two for me quickly. One, did you cross paths with anyone in the Delaware staff in previous jobs?
Not that I'm aware of. Oh, actually, the Art Link is on that staff, coaching the safeties, and special teams coordinator. And we've crossed paths a little bit, different places. So I know Art. I think he may be the only guy on the staff that I know.
Got it. And I'm just looking at the depth chart. I see you're going to be up in the press box along with Coach Green as the other coach. How do you go about determining who's on the field and who's in the box, and what you like about Coach Green up there with you?
Yeah, it's complicated. No, it's just it changes all the time. There's years where I feel like maybe I want to go down on the field, love being down there, but I can see so much better in the press box and feel like I got a little more time to make a decision with the call and those kind of things. The part of it, Phil, is who's coaching special teams. Like Coach Caniglo, for example, is in charge of our punt. Really needs to be down on the field. Coach Crawford's in charge of our punt return team. I want a voice in the secondary down on the field, those kind of things. So a lot of different things play into who's up and who's down. But we'd like to have another back end guy up top to see things from up high, and that's where Coach Green's going to help up there. And then I got our two TADs, veteran safeties, Mitch and Kevin Brennan up there to help with that stuff too. So feel good about the layout and how we're doing it this year. It's going to be different. I had Kevin Downing up in the press box with me for a long, long time, going back to Kennesaw State days. So it's going to be different, but it's be good to have Coach Green up there too.
Wags, I'll go back to you since we lost you there last time.
Well, yeah, players have kind of hinted at some new wrinkles that you may be introducing. Would you care to tell the world some of the new wrinkles?
Yeah, I'll tell you all of them right now. No, I can tell you, but then I'd have to kill you, Phil.
Well,
no.
without
we've always, we're always looking in off season. We're always trying to figure out what we can do better and how we can best utilize our personnel and so there's always going to be a few wrinkles. But the bottom line is we just got to go play hard, leverage the football and tackle. It doesn't matter what I call, what we do, and we got to go out and execute it at a high level, and that's going to be the difference.
Who are the guys that are going to be making defensive calls? You was Diego, and I don't know who was doing it at safety, probably Brennan at the beginning of last year, but who are you putting that responsibility on?
Yeah, well, the Mike will set the front and make a lot of the calls that pertain to the front seven, and both of our safeties will get us lined up in the back end.
But do you go back to the Flacco game where they beat Navy 59-52, and that was a good Navy team? They had a good season. And tell these guys that they're very capable. You may say FCS, but these guys can go. Yeah,
our guys are well aware how good football program Delaware is historically. Every year, the first game of the year, an FCS team or several FCS teams upset an FBS team, and we just got to go play to win. I don't want our guys playing with the mindset that they're afraid to lose to an FCS team. That's not how we're looking at it. And they're a really good football team. Our players know that. We've got a lot to prove ourselves, and so. Yeah, be careful about what you say. Coach Strauss will fact check you really quick. So no, but I don't pay attention to what happened in the past. But yeah, historically, our guys know that this is a really good FCS team. And there's a lot of FBS teams that they can play with. We know that we're going to play really, really well to win.